Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Hey, I bought this mint condition, never played Gibson SG Goddess on eBay on an auction. Now, I don't know about you guys, but is a headstock repair mint condition? Is a weirdly scratched up body mint condition? No, not really, and that's why it's always risky buying online, because you never know what you're gonna get, but most transactions usually are pretty okay. Now, once again, this was a very low feedback seller. They had 7 previous purchases of low dollar items, and then they were selling this high-end item at a no reserve auction. So I took a risk buying this one, and I kind of got burnt a little bit, but I was heavily surprised that the seller really thought this was a mint condition guitar. They were just misled by who they had bought it from. They didn't know about a headstock repair. It was obviously somebody that knows absolutely nothing about guitars. And surprisingly, they made it right. Initially, I was just like, I'm not interested. I'm just gonna return it. They offered me a partial refund that I thought was more than fair, that I would still be able to pass this on to somebody at a decent price. So no, this is not in mint condition, but if you want one of these SG Goddesses, I feel this is a really good deal for a pretty much all original one. Now, if you're not familiar with the Goddess series, I've done a few different videos on these, but they did Les Pauls and SGs. The SG Goddesses are the same size as a normal SG. The Les Paul Goddesses are actually a little bit smaller. Basically, they have fancy finishes and they were more marketed towards women. They have special humbuckers that match the color of the guitar. I know the white ones have like a blue winding of them, but the purple ones, which are definitely pretty much the most popular ones, have the purple winding. So they had a purple burst, kind of an autumn burst, a white one that they call ice burst, and then the SGs have a black one, and then there's a sky burst. The other unique thing about these ones is the Gibson headstock logo there is also the same color as the body. So that's kind of what makes these Goddesses as special as they are. Now the SG Goddesses, they got black backs, whereas the Les Pauls are a little bit more fancy with a slightly colored back. But overall, these are awesome guitars. There's not very many purple Gibsons out there. So if you're looking for a really cool guitar, this is definitely one of them. Now, my last SG Goddess on this channel, I bought it to be a cannibal because I needed the original pickups. So this one I picked up thinking, all right, let's have, a nice mint condition SG Goddess visit the shop. And unfortunately, it's not mint condition, but let's go ahead and go over it. All right, the face of the headstock here, as we already went over, the Gibson logo is a purple color. Now this isn't the deepest purple over the headstock logo that I've ever seen, but it definitely isn't white. It has a Goddess truss rod cover, as they all do, and the truss rod works fine. However, you can see some string wear scratches just from regular usage. And if you get it in the light just right, you can see right there where the holly veneer over the headstock here kind of bent. So it was definitely a pretty good crack. I mean, there's definitely some separation, but I don't believe it actually broke through the front. You can just kind of see where it bent right there. It has the locking Grover tuners that are kind of annoying. They stick up farther than usual and they kind of lock from the top. I don't like this style. It's the one thing I hate about Goddess series, because I prefer the Grover tuners that lock from the back. The nut has been replaced. I'm guessing when the headstock broke, they probably just replaced the nut. You do have a little bit of finish wear where they took the original nut off, but overall nothing too bad. You also have those lines that run up and down the neck where the binding truly ends, but those aren't breaks. But you do have a headstock break. The fretboard on these are Ebony. That's kind of another claim to fame for the Goddess series. The frets are in great shape, very minor wear, but obviously you have the headstock repair to remember on this one. But beautiful ebony board, was just conditioned, frets were polished. It really is a nice player. The frets are actually pretty tall on this one. The body here. If you took this to like a professional polisher or something, I'm sure most of what you see here would polish out, but you've got some scratches and just smudges from playing.
especially in this area where somebody's arm was resting. And just these smudge marks, like they're not in the finish or anything. I've just never been good at polishing guitars. I wipe them off with a little bit of Goo Gone just to get any stickiness off, but as far as, you know, an actual polish job, I don't do that. It looks like there was something on the guitar that just kind of ran down it. Some of that cleaned off, but again, you've got some marks on the front, but overall it's in fairly good shape. The pickguard still has the plastic on it. You can see it's kind of peeling up right there. So any of the little scratches you're seeing on the pickguard, just, you know, take the protective screen film off of that and it'll look great. Still retains the original 490R, 490T pickups. And they're really cool because they have the purple bobbins. Now, if you don't care about the purple bobbins and you like the look of a chrome cover, I do have a pair of 490R and 490T that are a quick connect style. I would chop the quick connectors off of it and take these pickups out and install the other ones if you would rather have that. Because personally, I like to always have a set of these just in case I find a Les Paul Goddess that needs the original pickups. But I think these almost look cooler with chrome covers. But the Les Pauls, I really like it when they do have the original pickups. Now, as far as sound on these guys, I really dig the neck pickup on clean. It sounds just so buttery smooth and nice, but I'm not as big of a fan on the bridge pickup of these at clean. Now, when you switch over to the dirty channel, it's the exact opposite. I hate the neck pickup. I don't think it's very, you know, lenient towards, you know, dirty, grungy stuff, but the bridge pickup on this thing just squeals. It really is a nice guitar, but as far as cleans go, it's one or the other. Same with the dirty channel. Back of the headstock here, serial number 002370356. Made in USA, and that makes this a 2007 model, fairly early. Again, you have the locking Grover tuners and the headstock repair here. Now, I'm not going to say this was a professional repair. I think it's just your typical, oh, well, you got a smiley face crack that runs along here and they just kind of glued it and clamped it. It looks like they lost a little bit of finish here and they just took a little Sharpie touch-up marker there. The Sharpie definitely doesn't blend in perfectly and you got a little bit of finish showing, but it plays. The guitar still plays. I mean, you don't have to put splines in every headstock repair, but, you know, amateur repair, I don't think anything special was done. There was no finish touch-up. As you can see, it just kind of looks like a long scratch. That's what kind of keeps this one, you know, less expensive. Do I think this will ever give you any problems? No, but definitely no. You might at one point in time have to re-repair that. But obviously you can see here, I'll bend on the headstock, no movement. It's definitely solid. The neck is definitely more of a 60s profile here. It's kind of a satin black here. And you've just got very light wear, nothing too bad. Back of the guitar, really not too much to note, even in the light here. You just got some light scuffs from regular play wear. So everything's original in here. I'm going to release a video at some point in time. I bought an Ebony touch-up pin, Gibson brand, and I thought, since I've had it in my parts drawer for a while, I thought I'd give it a test, because I thought if it looked good, I would go ahead and touch this up. So I did do a little bit of a test underneath this control cavity here. Ultimately, no, I wouldn't use it for up here, but you guys can see that video of where I did that demonstration. I think those are mainly meant for a glossier finish. Since this is a satin black, it doesn't quite work. But overall, the back of the guitar, fairly good condition, just some light scratches. I'll run you over the sides here real quick as well. Alright, so overall, the Goddess series, what makes them a Goddess is they have special colored Gibson logos. They have ebony fretboards, which they don't even use anymore. They have special colored pickups and a special finish with a wrap tailpiece and just a master volume, master tone. So overall, I love these Goddess series guitars. I think they're really cool. I love their finishes because you can't
always get, a nice rose burst or a purple burst on regular Les Pauls or SGs. So overall, yes, the Goddess series gets my thumb of approval there, and I think you definitely should check one of these out if you ever see one.
Take a quick look under Blacklight here just so you can see a few of the scratches a little better. So there you can see there's no finish touch-ups on the front, so that kind of confirms my theory that the Holley veneer over the headstock was definitely bent, but not broken. Now there's been no heel damage to this one. I checked under there, everything was good as it was from the factory. So nothing to really worry about on the front of this guitar. Back of the headstock is where we kind of start having some fun. There you can see the headstock break a little bit more clearly, as well as on this side. And it looks like you've got some finish checking stemming from the tuners as well. I honestly didn't even notice that in regular lighting. But you can see where somebody took that Sharpie marker to try to touch the finish up a little bit. Once again, I don't think the headstock repair is the most professional, but it definitely does the job. It was probably glued right. I'm not too worried about it. Some headstock repaired guitars, when you play them, you're like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. But this one, I don't really get any of those vibes. The finish does glow a little bit dark there. It might have sat on a stand for a while. That made the finish glow a little bit differently. And that ring right there, that's just from my suction pulley to get that thing off. Take a look around here. Nothing to worry about on the heel joint. So if you've been wanting to try one of these SG Goddesses, this is definitely going to be a decent deal. This SG Goddess weighs 6 pounds, 8.3 ounces. This Goddess still does retain its original Gibson USA case. You can see you've got some light scuffs and light Tolex wear, but nothing too bad. 1, 2, and 3 latches on the front, as well as a locking combination lock that hasn't been set yet. So a total of 4 latches. The interior is white. I really want to make mention of the hinges on this. I don't know if somebody replaced those, but they're pretty good. They'll keep the lid stationary even from that angle. Now if you make it a little more, then it falls, but it definitely helps keep the lid up and puts less stress on your lid ribbon. So that was really cool to see. But it has a white interior, no case paperwork or anything like that, but overall, it does hold the guitar very well. The cleans will be running through a Gibson Super Gold Tone GA30 RV. The dirty tones come from a Marshall JMP 1C. think you might be interested in owning this Gibson SG Goddess in purple burst, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Trogoys, or you can check it out for sale on reverb.com. Thank you, Troglylites, for tuning in today, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.